welcome to the Writing Community Chat Show. What's up, everybody? Welcome to this week's Writing Community Chat Show. It is Wednesday. We're halfway through the week, and it's fantastic to be here as always. Mr. Hooley is back by my side, which is wonderful. Hello, Mr. Hooley.
Hello. Did you miss me?
Yeah, I did. I missed you on Friday. We had, Casey Whalen from before.
Yeah.
The first show I ever found out on season 1.
Yeah, I was slightly worried for you, to be honest, because I remember the first time you spoke to him and you were like...
That was my genuine first ever stage fright, it was. But yep. I think I did quite well, and he was fantastic. A brilliant, brilliant guest. If you guys haven't seen that or listened to it, go back and check it out. If you're into screenwriting, audio dramas, working with celebrities, all the stuff that he comes with, definitely worth listening to. Fantastic.
Oh, great beards. If you're into great beards, he's definitely got one of those.
Yeah, if you want to rock a shaved head and a beard, upside down head, I like to call it, then definitely check his head out because it looks great.
He's got a great head.
Yeah. Would you do that, Chris, one day?
What, look at Casey Whelan's head?
Yeah. No, I kind of mean shave your head and grow a beard.
Oh, yeah, maybe. Maybe. It might be a look for sort of 40s, 50s, maybe.
Okay,
might rock that.
Yeah.
Or for charity. Do it for charity, definitely.
Hey. Definitely. There's some charity events that we can line up in this show. Okay, there's a few things I want to talk about before we start with our guest that a lot of you might know in the chat. I think you might do. There's what do I call it? We kind of mentioned at 6,000. I kind of fucked this up, to be honest with you, but 6,000 followers, I said that when we hit 6,000, but I said 7, we would buy a book. But what I didn't know is that we were at 6,000, not 7. So I said in return that every 50 followers we gain from that point on, we will buy an ebook from the people in the Writers Lift on Twitter, which is a massive Writers Lift. It is incredible. And we are on lucky number 7. So today we have indeed hit the mark, and we have bought someone's book. And if you stay tuned, we will let you know what that is. So if you entered that, well done, and we've just hit that. So lucky number 7 is coming very soon. And there's one bit of entertainment news as well, Chris. You into like thrillers and horrors on Netflix, right?
Yeah.
It's been announced today that Evan Peters of American Horror Story, the lady's favorite, I imagine. He is teaming up with Ryan Murphy once again, as he picks him for everything. To create the Jeffrey Dahmer story, and he's playing Mr. Jeffrey Dahmer.
Nice. That will be good.
I think that is going to be great.
I hope it's better than the last Jeffrey Dahmer thing they did, because that was rubbish.
What was that one? Was that the same people? No. Okay.
Was it called I think it might have been called Dahmer or something. I can't remember. Somebody will know in the chat, but it was rubbish. There's no killing in it whatsoever. It was just a depressed teenager.
Was that like a BBC thing, or?
No, I think it was one of the big 3, the Netflix, Amazon, or someone else.
Interesting indeed. Yeah.
Well, not really. It was rubbish.
Okay, so let's get on with our Be a Token book promotion. I haven't said that right for weeks. I don't know what's going on there. Be a Token book promotion this week is by someone that we definitely know, who's been on the show before, and who has had fantastic books, won many awards with these books. And if you look across the bottom of that screen right now, you will see Lalai A. Love, one of our favourite group members. The Decoding of Joe is one of her books, and, well, The Whole of Ignorance, if you will. It's had 33 ratings, and it's 4.6 out of 5, which is fantastic. Available as audiobook, hardback, paperback, and ebook, which is amazing. It's been called spellbinding, captivating, and smart. I found myself wanting more. And the bio reads, ever since that fatal night, her mother was taken hostage by a homicidal maniac. 16-year-old Joe has been plagued by debilitating nightmares. Yeah, as she tries to unveil her bleak reality while attending Forest Hill Academy. a prepped co-ed private school, Joe and her friends discover a mysterious getaway into a black hole. Oh, gateway. Oh. I really fucked that up, haven't I? Accidentally, evil is released from the portal as a demonic parasite spread throughout the school. One by one, they turn to her classmates into an army of sleepwalkers, serving the Lord of Darkness in a sinister plot of an universal domination. Apart from me butchering that, it actually sounds really, really cool. And kind of gives me a bit of a Stranger Things vibe.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously set in a school, demonic sort of things roaming around. Yeah, sounds good. So if you like Stranger Things, or even if you don't,
it might not be anything like that.
I Love's book, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just going to...
Just get it. Just buy it now. Chris fucked it up. Buy
it. Chris, do you want to look at the...
Oh, yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah, go on, get it there. Well, there it is. Please go and check that book out and support the authors that support the show. Apologies for, giving
I'm loving that cover, by the way. It looks great.
Yeah, I know it does. Very good. So, someone in the chat, Mario says, "Greeting, friends. So excited about today's show." As are we.
Do you know what I was excited about today? Mario's mum.
Excuse me?
No, I'll explain a little bit about that. But she was cooking.
All right,
she was cooking the most amazing looking food. And she was filming this. I'm guessing Mario was filming it. And she was cooking these like little pizza things, I think. And they looked amazing. So yeah, if they would keep from America to the UK, Mario, I'll give you my address and your mum can send me some pizza stuff. That would be amazing.
Yep. Okay. Moving on from Mario's mum, Lalai says that I think this is in relation to a book. It's free for today on Prolific. So if that is the case, get on there and download it, but don't be stingy. Buy it as well, because obviously writers don't make a lot of money. Mario said, "Mum cooked me lunch. It was pizza fritter."
Oh, that's what it was. Pizza fritter. It looks amazing.
And he said, "I will deliver them personally."
Oh, even better.
You imagine Mario rocking up at your door, Chris Hooley?
I actually can. I'd be very excited.
Brilliant. Okay, today's guest. Shall we get this guest on, Mr. Hooley?
We shall indeed.
Good. I don't know why I keep calling you Mr. Hooley today. It's because I haven't seen you.
Thing.
Yeah.
Respect. You will respect your elders.
Gonna register. Okay, today's guest is the award-winning, nominated, internationally published author of Behind Blue Eyes, The Tale of the Shadow City series and the MUC series. Ladies and gentlemen, let's please welcome Anna MOCIKAT. Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello, Mr. Hooley. Hello, Mr. Eggett.
Hello, Anya. You're on time. Well done.
How are you doing?
I'm great. I'm very, very excited that I'm here on the show today, that you guys invited me. And I apologize for noises coming from here. I have my dogs in the room and they are always disturbing me when I am doing something of importance. And they might jump around somewhere here at some point. So
that is perfectly fine.
Just ignore them. And otherwise, yeah,
I want to say
having a drink too. So.
Let's raise a toast because it's publication day for Anna MOCIKAT.
Thank you.
Thank you. Happy Publication Day.
Thank you.
I'm sure there's a song in there somewhere, but I don't know what it is.
Hi guys. And Mario, how about you visit me first? You know, I live a little bit closer, so you come here and you bring the pizza and we go to the pool and we will have a blast.
Oh, there's a pool
how about
involved.
that?
I think your dog is eating the plant behind you.
Yeah, she does that all the time.
Yeah, chuck.
That's if they will probably bring stuff and spread it here. I just cleaned up everything, but it will take them 5 minutes to make a mess.
He's literally eating your plant.
That's Yuri. That's Yuri. Not Yuri.
Don't worry about it. It's fun. Mario says I can drive and cook for you, Anna. So he will do all of those things.
Perfect.
Congratulations.
Perfect. Okay, you drive, you cook, and we go to the pool. Let's wait until it's summer, and
Mario.
We're gonna have pizza fritters and drinks at the pool. So
okay, that's one way to celebrate your book launch when we finally get Mario over to you, and he can send us a video there. Maybe Mum can cook for you then.
Oh yes.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go on.
Ooh, we both jumped in there with the so. Yeah, what we've been doing recently is we've been talking about the book first, So telling us what it's about and all those lovely little details, just so people stick around for all the other good bits.
All right, so this is the second book in the series. So I would recommend reading the first book first. Let's say you can start with the second book. I think you truly can. I always try to write the second book in a way that you can jump in, and you probably won't understand everything, but you will understand most of it, and then you still can go back to the first book if you want. So you can just get Behind Blue Eyes Fallen Angels and start reading right now if you want, or you take the first book and see how the story started. And it's a science fiction story. It's a cyberpunk story set in the year 2095. And our heroine is a killer cyborg called Nephilim. And she is, as the readers of the first book know, very much of a badass. And she becomes even more badass in the second book because she gets promoted to Archangel, which is like very high up in the ranks of them, and she got a lot of new extra upgrades and gadgets and is doing a lot of weird stuff. However, so the story is this: the cyborgs, they are called guardian angels of Olympias. They are known as almost invincible because they are so much upgraded and have artificial limbs, and the limbs are of titanium and that kind of stuff. Well, that's not that kind of angels. They're made of titanium, so they are not they're not the fluffy ones with the nice wings. And anyway, so the story starts with some of them being murdered in a very, very brutal way and put on display and found around the city. And this is something which disturbs them very much because they think they are invincible. But somehow somebody developed a technology to take them down one by one. And that's where the story comes into play. And that's where Nephilim needs to find out who is after them. And turns out to be a big, big, big conspiracy. Ooh. And as I heard from a reviewer today, she was completely surprised by when it turned out who is behind the whole thing. Yeah, there is a lot of murder. Hello, you would like that, and it's really, really bloody. So, I mean,
it's kind of nice to hear that, isn't it? When you get a reviewer, especially saying that I did not see that come in. That's a really cool thing to receive, isn't it?
Yes, that's really wonderful.
Was that planned to come out that way?
Let's say this thing is who is behind the whole thing is something I think some readers will guess. Yeah. But there is other stuff people definitely don't see coming in this book, the end of the book, and where the whole story goes, because the first, I call it season, the first season of the story will be 4 books, and at the end of book 4, nothing will be as it used to be, and I think this is going to completely surprise everybody where the story is going.
With the for someone who's watching this or listening to this back, the thought of cyberpunk, if they've not stepped into that world before, can you just give a little explanation that could pull them into that world, and why is it so important?
So cyberpunk is a subgenre of science fiction, and it's like the most famous one is probably Blade Runner. That's the one everybody knows. Or another famous one is Ghost in a Shell. And so it's a very specific form of science fiction, which usually is set in an urban area in a big city. And it's usually a lot about body modifications and artificial parts, and whether basically the question is asked, where does the human stop and where does the machine start? There's a lot of artificial intelligence and that kind of thing. So it's different than like a space opera. It's usually not in space. it doesn't necessarily need to be in a very far future, like Star Trek or something. So my book is set in 2095. When you look back at Blade Runner, it was set and we basically already passed it. So when it was written and when it was the movie was shot, this was science fiction where we are now. So
is there any cyberpunk that is kind of in the past but futuristic for that time? Does that make sense? Do people write cyberpunk for like older days?
So like, do you mean like set in the 60s?
Yeah.
Well, it would be an alternative reality story then, right? 60s, which are a little bit different than the ones we experienced. And there is, of course, the genre of steampunk, which is a little bit the opposite of cyberpunk, which is like steam driven, right? I mean, it's like in the 19th century with steam engines and that kind of stuff, but it's also science fiction. So that's often a similar. Often people think it's similar genre because both is punk, but it's basically the opposite.
Yeah.
So Anna, did you always have 4 books in mind when you first started out, or have you did you write the first one and then think, right, I could definitely do a second one, and hang on a minute, I can actually do 4, or was that always part of the plan?
So I usually
just get growled at then. I'm sorry, Doug. You didn't like my question.
Chris. No.
Don't you ask about the secrets?
I mean, we talked about this before last year. So I'm not a panther. I'm a plotter. So I have plotted everything out. And when I started writing the first book, I knew where the story is going, where the big final is going of the story, which will be 4 books now. I originally thought it would be 3 books, but when writing the second book, I realized that the story just needs a little bit more space than I thought it would. And instead of rushing it, I decided to basically split book 2 in 2 books. So what we have now, the second book is like the half of the original second book, which was planned. And I realized it would come out as probably 170k words if I write it, and that's just too long. So I decided to split it in half. But the whole story, once the last book of the first part, the 4th book will be out, when people look back, they will see that everything was already foreshadowed in the first book. So even though it comes as a surprise, they can go back and look it up in the first book and will see, oh shit, that was exactly what this meant back then. So that's I think that's probably the big advantage you have when you're a plotter, because you can do that kind of stuff.
There's one thing that I kind of feel when I'm writing more and more, I feel like I'm developing as a writer. So as someone who's writing a 4-book series, do you kind of find it hard to keep within the same perimeters of a story, or your ability as a writer when you're going across so many books?
I would say that my abilities as a writer have improved tremendously over the years. But I've been doing this for quite some time, and for me, Behind Blue Eyes is definitely the best book I have written. Now, people say that the second book, they like it more than the first. I mean, that's nice. I hope I can hold the level, but for me, it was the book, the best book I have written, and I think all my experience of so many years and many books I've written before went into that, and that's what came out of it. So basically, Behind Blue Eyes, the series, it's my life work. I don't think that I will come up with anything better than this.
So Anna, when you step back into Neville's shoes then for book 2, did she bring any surprises to you that you'd not plotted, that you sort of discovered along the way? And if so, can you talk about them in any sort of detail? I mean, obviously you don't have to give plot points away, but you know.
Yeah, no spoilers.
So Nephilim, Halo. Halo is just a sweetheart. Unless she writes, then she starts killing people and starts being.
She's got to let the crazy out somewhere, isn't she? I mean,
it's similar.
If she didn't express it in that way, I would fear for the world. But you know.
Yes. So, in a way, the whole story is Nephilim's story. She will be at the end of the whole 4 books, somebody completely different than she was in the beginning. And in a way, the first book is she's almost like a child. And in the second book, she is much more mature than she used to be, and she has grown and is developing very, very rapidly into a certain direction. I don't think that it's a surprise for me because I knew all along where she is going. So it's more like sometimes when I write scenes, they turn out a little bit different. There's also a lot of dynamic between her and Metatron in the second book, who is like where the second most important character in the book and in the whole series, and the dynamic between those two often develops a little bit different than I originally thought it would. There is stuff in there which just turned out much stronger or much more radical than I wanted it to be, and that's mostly his influence and not her.
Yeah. So would you what advice would you give to somebody who is they've plotted out their whole series, they know what they want to write, but then they've got to keep that motivation up? Like, because for some people, if they plotted it all out, the hard part would actually be physically then writing it. So they go, I've got this great idea, it's really good, just need to actually get it written. And if you know what's coming, do you ever struggle with motivation at any point? And if so, what would your advice be to those sort of people?
So for me, it's actually the opposite. I think that if you know what you're doing at every point of the journey, you will never get a writer's block. I think that the writer's block is a typical Panzer disease. If you know what's coming, you never can get stuck. Actually, you know, I know exactly. I am a little bit extreme. Not everybody's like that. I know like everything that is going to happen in the next 2 books already in my head, and I have scenes in my head. The last scene, that the showdown of the last book is like completely developed in my head because I see it as a movie in my head and then write it down. But for most people, if you just write down the outline and then work it down step by step, I think that's very, very helpful because you can't get stuck and you still can get new ideas, new inspirations, and bring them in somehow. I don't think that you should completely stick to the plan. If you have a better idea on the way, why not? But I don't think it's boring at all. For me personally, it's
So with Cyberpunk and someone who's very much a fan of Cyberpunk, what do you love to read? What are some tropes, positive types that you really like, that you want to see in a Cyberpunk book, that you try, to look out for when you're writing your work?
What I want to see in my books or in books I read?
Yeah, well, what you kind of think that must be in your work, and if someone's getting into that genre, what they really should be thinking about when writing that sort of work.
So I personally think that Cyberpunk goes very much into hard sci-fi. So hard sci-fi is like the science fiction which is really based on science, and it's a subgenre of science fiction actually. So I don't write sci-fi because I'm not a scientist and I'm bad in math and stuff. But I go pretty deep into the whole tech stuff, and I do a lot of research, and I always try to make everything plausible. And so the cyborgs, how they work and what they are, and so on, everything is really, really designed that it makes sense. Like, for example, that they don't sweat and why and so on. Little details.
Sorry, and just to jump in there very quickly before you move on, because it fits into that part of the conversation. When I was talking once about a sci-fi novel with somebody, they were very into sort of physics and a lot of space sort of experience, not experience in space, but like, about physics and the sort of parameters that work. When I mentioned the word hypersleep, for example, they couldn't kind of comprehend the fact that that didn't actually work in the world of whatever, in reality. So do you come up with that barrier with some sort of fans that might read your book? How specific do you have to be with work, and does it become an issue if you're going to sci-fi in the realms of cyberpunk?
I think it depends where you put it in what timeline. So like mine is set relatively close in time, and so I think it's very important to only put in things that could realistically become true in 2095. So I don't know. It's pretty certain that we won't fly around to I don't know, Alpha Centauri or somewhere in this short time, right? That's just it's just not gonna happen, okay? So I think you need to stay in the timeline you are in, and try to be realistic and take the things, the developments which are here now, and think about how can they improve, how can they develop further. That's one thing. And going back to what is important for me, so I personally don't like it at all when there is fantasy in cyberpunk. Okay. Because for me it's more hard sci-fi. I really want the sci-fi aspect. So I don't want to see, I don't know, witches and fairies and mermaids and whatever, and jumping around in a cyberpunk world. That's so in theory, just don't work for me.
Yeah, in theory, what you're saying is you keep it within the parameters of what could be realistic in the future, but then the fantasy element takes it even further away from what that could be, the reality of that. So you want to keep it in that same sort of area of specific possibilities.
Yeah, so that's, I mean, there are authors who mix like sci-fi with fantasy, or cyberpunk with fantasy, and then there are fantastical creatures in there. For me, or magic, for me, magic and science fiction just doesn't work. It doesn't, unless you find an explanation, a scientific explanation, like, I don't know, someone can control, I don't know, particles, nanoparticles, something like that, with whatever magnetism, or I don't know. I mean, there are so many things. When you go into quantum physics, you it's crazy. Okay, you can do everything. But I want to see like an explanation, a quantum physics explanation for magic. I don't want to have Harry Potter wielding his magic wand and a dragon flying by. That's just not working for me. Okay, so there are
dragons in Wales, Anna. So just saying. Anyway, I've got to talk about the chat for 1 second, guys, because this is the first time I've ever been massively distracted, and our classic fan family people in the chat, and they're having a massive discussion about not just about the abuse they're giving each other, but what a spanner is. So. Halo's asking, does spanner mean a wrench? Yes, you spanner. And then erect FSF came up as well. So I'm just giving you a little glimpse into what is going on in the chat there.
How the hell did they start discussing spanner? I mean, am I so boring, guys? I'm really.
No. I think it started with burn the plan, take the city, conquer the world. Halo is just on a rampage of death.
By the way, spanner, the word exists in German. It's Spanner.
Yes.
A spanner is a peeping Tom.
Oh, really?
Ooh,
yes.
Very different.
That is very different.
Meaning. Okay.
Oh, I love
so,
that.
Anna, I'm going to make a loose link between Harry Potter swinging his thing that you mentioned, a spanner, and then I'm going to flip it to reviews. So, Behind Blue Eyes received like very, very good reviews, and quite a lot of them as well. So did they factor into your thinking when you were writing book 2? And obviously you've already talked about how it's more violent and Nephilim's more developed. So were you ever consciously aware of what your readership, because now it exists obviously with book one, were expecting, and sort of like how far you could push things?
So I'm definitely planning to push things further with every book. So so there are certain boundaries, and I'm going to tickle them. And that's in point of violence, but also in point of sexual content, which is very strong in the first book already. And that's not because I am like an erotica author who not at all, but because
you're not a spanner.
I'm not a spanner, no. But it's just the world of Olympias, which is extremely promiscuous. Oh yeah. Halo. And that's why this world is works by very different rules than our world. This whole extreme freedom of sexuality in this society is an important plot, actually, because when you have all freedoms in this direction, you decide maybe you want the opposite of it, and that's not allowed. So that's an important aspect, and I really want to push boundaries a little bit, and I think that's already in this book. I had a couple of reviews for the first book who said, well, there is too much sex in there. But it was, I think, only 2 or 3 who said that. Everybody else had no problem with it. So I think, okay, so for the next book, I need to have a little bit more people who get upset about that. I
love it. It wasn't like, maybe I'll tone that down. It's like, right, set the bar. We're going to
of course. So on the first 50 pages, we have an orgy between the cyborgs. Because this has been mentioned. Yeah, they are. Exactly. And in the first book, this has been mentioned a couple of times. And I know people were thinking about it. So now in the second book, I think I have to show them what they really do and how it is. And it is rather extreme. And but that's how they are. They are extremely violent, and they are also a little bit degenerate in their other ways. So this is something, and also the violence has gone up a little bit, and the graphic stuff, but not too much. I mean, I don't want to horrify anyone completely. It's just a book for adults,
You know what? I think the beauty of books they've always been as graphic or as sexual as you really want them to be, and they've always been interpreted by the reader. And TV has always had that little limit on it, where they'll let swear words go left, right, and center, but you show a bit of skin and they'll go, oh no. But I think these days, with things like Game of Thrones or whatever the series is at the moment, they're really pushing the boundaries in terms of what can be said, what can be done, what can be seen. So I think books, they've always been there, but now we have the opportunity to push them even more. And we mentioned Halo quite a lot on tonight's show. She's pushed the boundaries in that sense, and I don't think you should be maybe holding back, but it just depends on what you want to portray in your work.
Yeah, absolutly. Yeah.
So as two people,
it's in line somehow, But I wanted to say something else to your question before with reviews and everything. I got distracted by sex, but I actually, I have to admit something. So all the fantastic reviews I got, and I only got 5 and 4 star reviews, actually. I have 2 1 stars, which without a review, it's just, someone gave 1 star and didn't say anything. So I don't count them. Everyone who had something to say loved it. And for me, this was a new experience because with all my other books, there always have been people who didn't like it. So I found myself under pressure when writing the second book, because I was horrified that I can't write something people like as much as the first book. I really was, for a while. It for me was, the first 100 pages took me an eternity to write, because I was intimidated by the love I got from my readers. I also got emails and DMs and so on, people telling me how much they love the book. And then I am sitting there writing, thinking, Oh, no pressure at all. So it was difficult, actually. I think if it can be difficult when people hate what you do because you get discouraged, but if everybody loves what you do, it can get really difficult as well. I mean, I hope people will like the second book as much as the first.
I'm really sure they will. Chris, go on. Get that question.
Yeah,
in there.
my
we'll
question. I'm sure you won't like it, mate, when I ask it. But
okay.
my question was because obviously you've both written sex scenes that I have read and approved of. So I was gonna say, what is your advice for somebody out there who may be a bit timid about writing a sex scene at the moment and wants to tackle it? What advice would Aga and Mocikat give for that person?
I'll jump in there, Chris, and let Anna have a little a second to think about it. I would say that if you want to write in that world and it is something you want to do, but you're not sure how to, research, of course, but in the best kind of ways. But what I'll say is
absolutely
keep it real. Don't go too far-fetched and keep it real. And the more real, the more real you keep it, the more realistic that your work will become, depending on your genre, of course. If you're doing erotica for the first time, don't ask me for advice, and perhaps watch more. Act it out, Mario says. Yeah.
Yes, Mario.
Anna, your turn. Go on.
Research, definitely. Research. In my case, I had so much sex with cyborgs, like... yeah. No. No. Okay, so I think my advice would be so for me the biggest challenge I had with writing such scenes, I have read Vale. Okay.
Oh, yeah, not on this show. Come
on. So my biggest fear I had, because I read so many horrible sex scenes, like, and cringe-worthy. You read it and think, oh my God, no. So I mean, I will never understand why people like 50 Shades of Grey, because it's like, it's just, my hair stands up like this. I tried it. I tried to read it. I made it 5 pages and my hair stood up.
What was so bad about it?
I can't do it. Huh?
What did you find so bad?
The writing. I think the writing is so horrible. So what I think, for me personally, the most important advice is don't use strange synonyms for genitals.
Yes.
Please, by the love of God.
If you've got some great ones, guys, please send them in the chat and we'll have a talk about those too. I agree. Yeah,
because it's horrible. I mean, honestly, just call it by the name if you want, okay? If you want, then say what it is.
Pee.
Or what I do, I mean, if you read my scenes, I just stop at the point where it would get too descriptive, and rather let the reader see it in their head. I don't describe the act in all details because everybody knows how it goes, right? So.
I can't even see why he's laughing. But...
Just check the chat.
Yeah, show the chat, please. I mean, they're apparently...
okay. Okay, let's go. Started off with, of course, Mario.
Of course.
I know it's Vince first. A love wand. Standard. That's the standard.
Yes.
Mario throbbing member, of course.
Yes. Oh my God, I hate the throbbing member. Please, never give me the throbbing member. It's horrible. Why?
Turgid tool.
What the hell is this?
I don't know. Trouser snake, classic. Someone posted Lady More on Twitter. I don't know what that is. Merlin stick. Of course, Love Canal. Again, Mario's giving all of these out.
I would like to hear some female versions, okay?
Love Canal surely was a female one.
Is this female? Okay.
And a honeypot. and Lady Mao, and One Eye Trouser Snake, and finish off with it. And then we're moving on because we've got to do the second half of the show, and we're going to get kicked off YouTube. Chris is dying. I have an itchy face. Oh, dear God. Right, okay. What we're going to do is to restore some kind of normality. We're going to talk about the winner of today's 7K followers quest. And then we're going to do the Writing Community Chat Show new family member. And I've decided, Chris, to change it up. Not someone who has got a few followers. Whoever's the last person to follow us at that point of choosing, just do that person. So our 7K quest, we've hit the next milestone. And the book that we bought is The Voice That Thunders by Cully Mack. On Twitter, you can find her at Cully, CULLYMACK. A Voice That Thunders. That is a fantasy book, 1 of 4. And we have bought that book, so well done to you. Congratulations. Thank you for entering. Thank you for entering our competition.
Yeah, well done.
And helping us penis flytrap. Good. Mario's enjoying the laughter in this show. I agree. I don't even know what I'm doing anymore. Oh, new family member. I'm going to play this, and hopefully we can try and get some composure. Oh, dear me.
Ring of Fire. Okay.
The Ring of Fire. Yes, indeedy, weedy. So, have a think of a GIF, Anna, and then I will announce this person. And that person is Julie at SREDDOUS. And that's not how you spell Julie. That is her Twitter name. And she's a world traveller, aspiring author. Please don't use aspiring author. I think that's a terrible word. Either be an author or don't, I say. Aspiring author.
Yeah, it's like Yoda, right? Be an author or don't. He says.
I don't remember him saying that, right? But, yeah.
I don't remember him saying that either. Did he say that?
Oh, no, but he says, like, do it or don't try. That kind of stuff.
There's no try. There's only whatever. Exactly. And she's a cosplayer. Is that what you do?
Me?
No?
Well, yeah. I'm not a cosplayer. I'm a cyborg. You can see it at my.
Oh, you're
my
an actual
eyes.
cyborg, right? Okay. And
cool.
She has 2,615 followers. So please find this person. And what GIF are we sending this person, Anna?
What GIF?
Yeah.
I can choose it.
Well, any theme. Of course. Try. There is no try. This could be cyborgs. It could be fire goats and sacrificing. Love muffin. Do not GIF a love muffin.
No. Okay, a cyborg, of course.
Yes, right.
A cyborg.
So on Twitter, if you're listening back or watching this, you can do this when it's not live. This is fantastic. Go find Julie, who is at SREDDOUS. I can't say the word because I don't know what that means. She has 2,615 followers or around there by the time you do it. Go and follow her and send her a GIF of a cyborg in any kind of sense you want and say, welcome to the family, welcome to the show, or thanks for following, whatever you want to do. And that would be fantastic.
After this show, she's going to delete her account because she's going to get scared. All those crazy people.
So, writing community question time, guys. Send your questions in for Anna, or the way this show's gone, I can imagine there'll be some possibly random ones. Ross is still on fire with his comments in there. Please send the questions in, and
I want to see them.
Okay, I'll send them in. It's a long shaft with a polished end, he said.
God.
Yeah. Be careful of Ross's sickle.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, send your questions.
That's what I was thinking. That's his sickle.
Okay, here you go, Anna. This is a question I've put down. So when the questions come in, I'll ask you this one. Which fictional character would you most like to meet in real life? If you could bring any character back from fiction, or not back, but from fiction, and say, go to the park, go on a date, have dinner, go surfing with, who would you bring back?
Han Solo.
Oh, good answer.
That's a good choice.
Then he will have to dump Princess Leia and marry me instead.
Okay, so you get married. If that's what you had to do, you get married with Han Solo.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's the guy. I mean,
Yeah,
come on.
it's a great guy. Chris, would you have an answer for that?
What, marrying Han Solo? Yeah,
No.
instantly.
Instantly. No, what character is a character you'd like to do whatever?
It's really hard when you put on the spot. I'm trying to even think of a character.
Well, we'll come back to it. We've got
I
some
say
questions.
Jesus Christ. Be a character.
Yeah, what would you do with him?
I'd just ask him about the wine.
The
Water
wine.
thing.
Hi,
The water
Jesus.
into
I brought
wine.
you back from the dead. What about the wine? What's that about, mate?
Can you turn this water into wine? Because
What's
I'd
the wine?
appreciate it.
Yeah, we can make a fortune.
Yeah, exactly. And a fish business.
And
We'd
he
have a
says,
wine and
would you
fish
keep
business.
Chewbacca out of the bedroom?
Oh,
Yes.
what a good question.
Oh, straight away.
Yes. He's too hairy for my taste.
Chris,
Shaving Chewbacca?
he looked like a mole.
He would look like him.
I don't know. Okay, that's kind of a good question.
The noises he would make outside, though, would be worse than the dog.
Yeah, right. I mean, I don't want to hear the noises he makes. Nope.
Okay. Okay. What cyborg enhancements are the coolest from Halo Scott?
Ooh.
So in the case of Behind Blue Eyes, I think the coolest they have are their artificial limbs, which make them extremely strong and extremely fast. I mean, they can run. They are 10 times as fast, as agile as a human.
Well, that's just not fun, is it, for us?
No, and especially since they are designed to hunt and kill humans. That's why they have been created. So they are definitely designed so a human can't stand a chance. And so every one of them is like a one man or one woman army. So they have, and I think the legs are just awesome. I mean, like Nephilim, she can jump over between two buildings. Like,
So what
that
happens
kind of
when the
stuff.
cyborgs actually win and kill all the humans? What happens next?
No, they don't. They are not. They're not supposed to kill everyone. They're supposed to keep everyone in line.
Computers are not supposed to talk to each other without the humans' permission, but they did, didn't they?
They are not computers. They have human brains. That's why
Well,
they are
there you go.
cyborgs.
So therefore, they can take over, and then we'll be dead, and they'll just be
I
walking
mean-
around thinking, "Oh,
They are not supposed. They're only supposed to kill you if you don't obey the perfect utopian society you live in. If you disagree with the perfection of society, they will knock on your door and say, "Hi, Chris. We heard you disagree with us."
not at all."
That's unfortunate.
Use your analytics in the wrong way if you must, but no. Okay, what physical pleasures do cyborgs like best from Mario?
Oh, Mario, you have to read the book. You will like the orgy scene.
Ah, there you go. Read the book to answer that one.
They are okay, so they are much stronger and much faster, and they have an extremely good stamina.
Okay.
All I need to say.
Mr. Lord Vale says, Anna, should I dress as a cyborg Han Solo for our research session?
Yes, please.
Hey. Okay. Send
And
some
in
more
black,
questions
please.
guys.
In black. I mean,
Han Solo didn't wear black.
dresses in
In fact,
black.
Kylo Ren wore black. And as we're talking about Kylo Ren, is he better than Darth Maul? Yes.
Then Darth Maul.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, there you go. See, Chris, he's rubbish.
Yeah.
Of course. I mean, yes.
See, I thought you'd be into Darth Maul because he does actually, in later editions of Star Wars, he does do the whole cyborg thing.
Does he?
Yeah,
Darth
full-bottom
Vader is
mask.
basically a cyborg. I mean, Darth
yeah.
Vader is like,
Yeah.
he has like a lot of artificial parts in him.
He does.
And
Wow.
poor guy has asthma.
We've
so-
got a really good question in from Ross. I'm going to have to read it out. He says, how close do you think we are to the corporate-driven society depicted in BBE? And do you worry that it might be close to the truth?
Yes, I think that we're going there. Actually, I hate it when I'm right. And
That's straight out of a film, that is, isn't it?
I think that we are definitely going there, and I think that it's particularly big tech, which is the ones we should be scared of. It's not like the traditional big corporations. It's big tech. They are the ones, and that's also in if you read book 2, the Olympias conglomerate that controls the whole American continents. And has become like a government, basically. In book 2, it's explained who they really are. I won't say it now because I don't want to get in trouble. But if you
in
read
about
it,
2 seconds, Anna's door's going to get kicked in behind her, and 2 people dressed in black are going to drag her out the room, and we'll never hear from
they
her
will
again.
drag me away.
Gone.
Yes.
Amazing.
Yeah, but
Well,
I actually think it's not gonna be good. No. I think it is. I think a cyberpunk future is nothing any one of us wants to live in, but I think we will live in it.
I'd rather the zombies, but we kind of passed that point. Have you seen the film Hackers of the old school days?
Oh my God! Like in the 90s, yes.
Yeah, I think Anna, you're a perfect character for that film in the modern era. So Hackers, yeah. Get in there. And carrying on from Ross's very intellectual question, we have this one. Where is it gone? Lubrication is important. It's a little fact for us all.
Is that a question or is that?
No, it's a statement. It's important. Thank you. Dave Middleham, who would win in a fight between Robocop and Twitter algorithm?
The Twitter algorithm?
It confused Robocop, right?
Poor Robocop. I mean, he's really not an advanced model. We have to say that. So
well, he was a patched up human, wasn't he?
Yeah, and my cyborgs are too. But he's a little bit of a tin can. I mean, he's like all slow and.
Okay.
Yeah.
Halo says, "Mother Twitter, hear our prayer." Twitter is ED 2000. No, I'm not sure what that means. Okay,
that's the computer from no, that's not the computer from 2001. That was hell. I don't know which one this is actually. ED.
Okay, well, guys, if you have any more questions, now's the time to send them in. Chris, do you want to ask some of our staple ones?
We will answer them all.
Before?
Yeah, definitely. So you've answered these before. I'm pretty sure you have, Anna. But I suppose we could change them. So if you could take any novel and turn it into a video game that doesn't exist.
Great question.
What novel would you choose, other than your own, obviously, because that's a given, and why?
That's a good question, Chris. Really is.
That's really a good question.
Because Anna you used to work in video games, right?
Yes. Yes. Let me think. Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, that's the one from RoboCop. Of course. Yes. Oh yes. Let me think. So because a lot of books, famous books, already have been made into video games. I don't know, like Lord of the Rings 1,000 times and stuff. A book that would. I mean, there is a Harry Potter video game, and there is a Cthulhu video game, and whatnot. So, The Witcher video games are great.
Cyborg orgy game.
Virtual reality.
If we jump back to Demolition Man, way back in the day, it's kind of what we have now. We have all the kind of young people who want to go and steal Iceland van food. Happened in the UK this week. They robbed an Iceland van, and they were walking down the street just drinking milk and eating food. They robbed from a van. This is what the UK has got to, right? So that was the equivalent of the people that lived underground stealing the real food because they didn't want to live like the posh people. And in that film, they have their head thing, and they experience the thing. Remember? They have like a... No, Chris? You tell me you've seen Demolition Man.
I haven't.
Oh my god. Anyway, they do a head thing that you put a thing on your head, and it gives you
To be honest, mate, you're not selling it to me either.
No. Anyway, pass.
It wasn't your question, it was Anna's question.
I'd eat a rat burger. Exactly. Thank you very much.
That means something else where I'm from, but I'm not going to go into that.
It's only because of Manchester you actually have them.
No, mate.
Also, Demolition Man, Simon Phoenix. That's all. Go on.
I honestly don't know which book I would make into a video game, because most of the books already have been made in a video game. So it's really a question I don't have an answer to right now, like spontaneously.
So here's another question then. Which celebrity do you think is actually secretly a cyborg?
Well, maybe not a cyborg, but Mark Zuckerberg is obviously an android. So
do you know what happened just then when you asked Anna that question? She couldn't compute fast enough, and there was about 5 seconds of silence.
I know, that was freaky. I think she may have done it on purpose, but
no,
it was freaky.
You could hear the processor wasn't quite quick enough to answer that one. Halo says, "Are the Borg sexy?"
You mean the Borg from Star Trek? Well, the Borg Queen definitely is sexy, isn't she? I mean, she is really sexy. So yeah, I think cyborgs are very sexy. That's why I write them like that. And Borg are basically cyborgs. I mean, the name isn't really creative, actually. I don't think that they would call themselves the Borg, which is like.
We got some good questions coming in, so we're going to have to skip through these, right? Lale says, Anna, who created your amazing book trailer, Winky Face?
Oh.
Yeah.
Thank you for asking. That was me.
Oh, fantastic. Well done.
I create book trailers. If someone needs one, just hit me up. I really like creating them.
Fantastic. Ross says, is Vision a person? That's going deep.
Ooh.
Vision? Who is Vision?
Wow. From the Avengers, the Vision is the Marvel character Vision, yeah.
I'm not really so much into Avengers, so I'm not sure.
Okay.
I would say the other guy, what was his name? Ultron. He definitely was a person.
What advice would you give to writers regarding a traditional publishing?
Oh yeah, Mario. Okay, we talked about that. Traditional publishing and I aren't the best friends. So I have been traditionally published by a big publisher in Germany, and I also had a small publisher here in the US, and I am now going into self-publishing fully. Because I think unless a publisher decides that they want you to be their new star, you're better off self-publishing. That's my opinion, and advice for newbie writers, if they want to query. Most of them basically don't have a zero chance to ever get an agent or a traditional publisher. They are looking for very specific people. It's not necessarily the story that is important. It is who you are that is important. So most people just will never get a chance. That's just how it is. And they are not bad writers. That's something I always would like to point out. Don't ever make them believe make them that believe that you are at fault, that you're the bad writer, that you are not good enough, because that's not the case. It's not that you're not good enough. It's not you, it's them. Okay, so you can be the best genius writer ever, and they will just not give you a chance. It's really not you, it's them. That's probably the biggest advice I can give. Never let them discourage you. Never let them make you think that you're not worthy.
Fantastic. Great answer.
Advice. Inspiring advice.
Yeah, can I just ask, to your left, behind you, next to the door, there's a poster with a white face on. What is that?
It is.
Yeah.
That's from Ergo Proxy. That's an anime I really, really like. And I know that this poster actually can look a little bit scary at night because the face is so wide.
Yeah, it's good. I like it. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the other one on the other side, that's from Behind Blue Eyes, the smaller one.
Nice. So Anna, would you ever, or are you, do you have in the works an anime of Behind Blue Eyes?
An anime? Well, I would love it to become an anime. Actually, it would make a fantastic anime or graphic novel or something like that. Definitely, that would be great. That would be cool. I would like that. But I personally am not able to draw or anything. I can't draw a straight line. So
is it something that you've actively looked into, though? Perhaps collaborating with somebody who has those skills, or is it just something that would be quite nice?
That would be something that would be nice. What I am now getting is an audiobook, and I'm very excited about that. That's something I actually wanted to mention. Behind Blue Eyes is going to be an audiobook. The first book relatively soon, and then the second book in summer. And I am absolutely excited about this because I have fantastic narrator, and it will be just great. I mean, everyone who liked the book will love the audiobook. And personally, I'm a big fan of audiobooks, and I also think that they are very, very much the future. So this is for me now my most important project. Actually, is the audio version of Behind Blue Eyes. It will be just amazing.
So how did you go about putting that together? What was the process behind that?
So there is Audible, and everybody. That's something interesting for indie authors. Everybody can basically set up their project on Audible and then find a narrator and have it produced there, and you can share the royalty. It's got royalty share, and so it won't cost you anything, but you will share the royalties with the narrator. So that's a great thing. I wouldn't recommend that to anyone who just starts out and has maybe 5 reviews or something, because the more reviews you have and the more people like your book, the better narrators will apply for the job. But basically everyone can go there and do that. And that's how I started with my project. I wanted to have Behind Blue Eyes as an audiobook. And so I went to Audible and made an audition there. And then the funny thing is I met my narrator over Twitter, because he saw that I was having the audition on Audible, and he contacted me. I had no idea who this is. I mean, just some random guy contacted me over DM and said, "Hey, you're looking for a narrator. Maybe I can help you." And I said, "Yeah, sure. Why don't you audition?" And then I had probably 20 different narrators auditioning, or maybe even more. And then I listened to him like for 20 seconds, and I was so blown away that I said, "Okay, yeah, let's do this." And now the whole project has been picked up by an audiobook publisher. So I'm actually very excited about that, because the audiobooks are being published professionally. He is doing them, so we still work as a team, but the publisher is paying for everything. So this is really nice. I'm absolutely excited about this, that this turned out so well.
Definitely. And when can we expect to see that again?
So the Behind Blue Eyes audiobook is set to be out in May. So I hope we are about to finish it now. My narrator is finishing the last chapters, and if you read the book and you know Metatron and the whole scene in the end between Metatron and Nephilim, it's just gonna be amazing. I mean, it's gonna be so good.
In the audition,
I'm sorry. No.
Did he do both voices in the audition?
I had to mute myself for a moment because a dog walked by the window, and that's not allowed in our house. So, what?
So did he do both voices, and what was that like when you heard him do them for the first time?
Yes. So I mean, usually, you can hire 2 different narrators, but nobody can afford that. So usually you have to decide, do you want a male or a female narrator? Thank you, Lela. Thank you. And for me, it was a tough decision because my main character is female, but the whole other cast, all other important characters are all male. So I had male and female narrators auditioning, and for me it was actually more important to get a good Metatron who can also read Nephilim well than the other way around. And so then what he did just was amazing. And he reads, even though he's a guy, he really reads Nephilim very, very well. I mean, we've been working on this together for a bit because I had very clear ideas how she should speak, and he's just doing this perfectly. So it doesn't sound strange at all that a guy is speaking a female character. But I think a good narrator should be able to narrate all characters well. Sometimes I think there are a lot of male narrators who do a horrible job reading female voices and vice versa. So that's the difficult thing, to find someone who is so talented and so well in this job.
Excellent. Anna, when can we expect book number 3 then? As book number 2 was just dropped today, which is fantastic. When is book 3 going to be on the shelves?
Well, probably in a year.
Okay.
So I'm working on another book right now, which is scheduled for fall, and it's gonna be a completely new story, and then the next will be Behind Blue Eyes. So I want to bring out a Behind Blue Eyes book once a year, and I am aiming for 2 books a year, and one of it should be Behind Blue Eyes.
Amazing.
Nice. And can you tell us anything about this new story that you're currently working on?
It's a little top secret. it's the audiobook publisher, they wanted this story very, very badly. That's how I came into contact with them, and then they said, okay, we do all your other books if we get this book. Wow. So it is also science fiction, and is but it won't be so violent as Behind Blue Eyes. It's more fun. I would say it's something like Ready Player One in that direction. Right. So but definitely also sci-fi project. So this is gonna be out in September, and then I can work on Behind Blue Eyes once I finished.
So is that an audio book and physical book at the same time dropping?
Hopefully, yes. That's the plan.
Real?
Yeah, but it's. I mean, everyone who already has an audiobook knows that it's really a difficult process, and it takes time and so on. But
okay. Sorry, I've got a question I'm going to ask just before we finish up, because Ross is kind of kicking off about it. I just want to leave it because he's getting the fuss that I haven't asked it. Shall I ask it, or just leave it to wind him up? I'll ask it from Halo via Ross because it's even better. Is Creepy Finn in BBE 2?
Of course he is. Oh, he isn't so creepy. He's a cute little nerd. The funny thing is, people love him. He's the most popular character of all. I also think he's a little bit creepy, but apparently most readers can relate to him.
Are they Spanners or Spanish?
Spanner.
Yeah. He is a Spanner.
No, he's not a Spanner. No. He is not. He's just a nerd who is in love with a killer cyborg. I mean, that's like,
standard procedure, I guess.
Happens. It happens. I think people can relate to that for some reason. And of course, yes, he will be back. And
amazing.
I won't tell what happens to him.
Excellent. Right, before we do finish up, where can people go and buy this book? It's out today. Fantastic news. Where can they get it?
Just go to Amazon and type in Behind Blue Eyes, and on Amazon.com, it's the first one that will show up. It is above The Who. It is above Limp Bizkit, So first one that will show up is Behind Blue Eyes. It's the first book. And if you click on that, you will find the second book because it's a series. So it's really easy to find Behind Blue Eyes. In the UK store and the other stores, you probably have to scroll down a little bit. In the .com store, you will find it instantly. So it's really easy to get if you want it. And please read it because apparently it's awesome. And there are a lot of there are a lot of sexy cyborgs in there.
Yeah,
exactly.
You can get
and
it,
get the book, but also if you do like Limp Bizkit and Behind Blue Eyes, get that too because that's a great track.
Yes, absolutely, it is a fantastic song.
So, thank you so much, Anna, for joining us. It's been an absolute blast. I haven't laughed that long in quite some time, and thank you guys for the chat because the chat was absolutely golden tonight. And I think that's we love doing these shows and we get some fantastic guests on. Honestly, we do. Over and over and over.
Sorry, but that is the best author photo I've ever seen. It's amazing.
I have a good photographer.
Yeah. It's brilliant.
He does.
Just say we get
of me.
Some of the best guests on we can imagine, but the fun we have with you guys, you're the ones that make this special. You guys in the chat, you show up every week. We absolutely love it. So thank you so much for doing that. Please, stay safe, please show up, and we'll keep doing this as best we can. And Anna, thank you so much again joining us and becoming a great guest.
Thank you so much. I had a blast, and it's so sweet of you that you invited me, and it really means so much to me. And
well, honestly, we can't thank you enough, and we can't hope that your release today is still a lockdown, and we hope that your book release goes fantastically well, and I'm sure it will do as much as the first book has. Anna, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, guys. It was fantastic. And you're just great. You're doing such a great job. I mean, we all love you.
We're off, I'm sure. Guys, thank you so much. We got a great guest coming up, Rob Parker, on Friday. Please join us. It's going to be a blast. And support the authors and support the show. Lala Love's book, please do check that out. The Decoding of Joe is up there. Go and find that on Amazon, as well as Anna's book that is out today. Guys, stay safe, look after yourselves, and we will see you on Friday. Thank you so much. Bye, guys.
Thank you.